He charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. I'm Lauren, and I'm here with my best friend, Cash.
Hello, everybody.
And we have like the most special guest ever today. We have David Yosef from Behind the Velvet Rope. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcast. Hello, how are you?
David Yontef, but nobody knows how to say my last name.
Oh.
I really should just change my last name. You know, it like means holiday in Jewish, in Hebrew.
I
and
love that.
I'm not religious at all, but half my family's last name is Holiday, and I really should just have the last name Holiday.
I love it. No, don't change it. Don't change it.
Oh my gosh.
My last name is Peavy House. Like, you have no idea. Pee-pee house, poo-poo house. Like, it'll be all kinds of shit. Like, so I apologize. I really am sorry.
Listen, I mispronounce a lot of names on my podcasts too. So
okay.
no shade at all.
Well, I mean, there is no warmer introduction than a mispronunciation of a name.
Right. There is. Welcome to In Front of the Velvet Rope. We're taking you from behind it and bringing you in front. And your podcast has just had like insanely cool guests. Like, you have really just run the gamut of guests. Like, you have Kelly Dodd and Rick Leventhal, which we will definitely be touching base on. Yeah. For Teresa Caputo, I mean, wow. Countess Luann, real life royalty on your show. Amazing. And Gloria Aldred. Are you kidding?
And Lisa Bloom, Gloria's daughter.
How do you do that? I mean, you're just an icon at this point.
Well, thank you. Listen, I like a diverse, like, look, my podcast is probably housed in Bravo more than anything. You know, that's what people really want. But I don't know. I just love diversity. Like, and it's 5 days a week and it's an interview every day. So just somewhere along the line, I was like, you know, I just want this to be diverse. And, you know, I think sometimes, I mean, I think the audience would be more than happy if I just had a housewife on 5 days a week. But that's just not the reality. You know, there's a lot of other interesting things out there. Like you said, like Gloria Allred, like she's not doing a podcast, you know, so
we'd love to hear talk on yours.
Right. Yeah. So when Gloria Allred kind of comes across my desk, we're not going to say no to Gloria Allred or Lisa Bloom or, you know, and Teresa Caputo, Long Island Medium. Come on now. This is like
on now. Like, that was, I love her.
Yeah. You have an amazing catalog of guests. And I do have to shout out, you had Fortune Feimster on. Loved that episode. It was amazing. She's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Like, you can get seriously everything out of your podcast.
Yeah, really.
It's for everyone.
And I can never predict, like with Fortune, I'm like, I love her. And there's no question I'm interviewing her. Cause like, I love, you know, we just had Margaret Cho. Like, I love when it's like a real actress or comedian or anything like that. No shade to all the housewives, but I was like, you know, I think Fortune will do it'll be an okay episode. You know, like I love her, but I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be our biggest episode. It's not going to be Kelly Dodd and Rick. People love the Fortune Feimster. So even 3 years in, I can't always predict, like, not that doesn't motivate, you know, whether I say no to a guest. It's based on a lot of other things, but I just figured Fortune would be a great episode and I'd love it. And a couple of people, no one's not going to like it. She's a wonderful person, but I was like, it's not going to be our biggest rated episode. Oh, people love that Fortune Feimster, I found out.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's hysterical.
She's amazing and so nice and just, she's great. I was like, this is a great episode.
Yeah. So you weren't always an interviewer. Like, you really started your career in corporate tax law.
I did.
Okay.
I started as a corporate lawyer.
And then you just woke up one day and you were like, F this BS. I'm talking to the people who matter and I'm hitting the mic, or what? How do you do that?
I've changed careers many times. So, I mean, well, not many, but I did wake up and say F this when I was a lawyer. Yes. I'm like, what is the point of this? You know, you have to grapple with like, okay, I went through this many years of law school and, you know, this, and why am I leaving this profession? But then you just get to the point where you're like, I fucking hate this. So like, let's put the parents aside and what we're supposed to do. Like, life is long.
Yeah.
Listen, I think I'm good with numbers and I love numbers, and I was an accounting major, so I understand how I ended up in corporate tax. And
you're speaking a foreign language to us right now.
Well, you know what it is? Even now, like with my podcast, I love like the analytics and the numbers. I really get into all that stuff. So, and it helps shape this, because listen, I always say numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? You could say, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like we'll get into Kelly and Rick after Kelly and Rick were on my show and mass chaos broke out and everyone was going to stop listening and blah, blah.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet.
But you're not, because the numbers aren't down. And
right.
3 people blocked me. Okay, over here. But no, you could say and go protest and put in any comments you want. You're not. The masses didn't stop listening because the numbers are up. So,
right.
So I always did that. But then the long story is, I'll make a long story short. I left practicing tax law and I fell into recruiting and HR. And then I ran HR departments for a while. And then I had my own staffing agency. But then after all of that, I was working for a lot of companies that kept merging. I worked at Martha Stewart for a minute running recruiting. And then when like my last company merged, I was kind of like in between jobs. And like I knew a lot of these reality people that I was hanging out with. So yeah, when I started my podcast, it started as a much different format. It started 2 days a week, kind of like Wendy Williams. Like my pilot episode was me in Florida at a dinner with Kelly Dodd, Rick Leventhal, Dolores Catania, and Ramona Singer.
I just literally got the chills. Like
I've never heard Rick Leventhal's name so many times.
Right? Well, you need to go back and listen to our first episode ever.
That's crazy.
It really was like the Wendy Williams of like, I say it's like a child that's born into a celebrity parent. Like at some point, like you don't know your life is different, but at some point you realize it. So when I started my podcast, I was like, I don't necessarily find these things so interesting anymore because this is just like a natural Wednesday night. But I'm like, I think that people will find these, like this dinner is hilarious. It's just hilarious. It's like Ramona. It's literally what you think. This is no exaggeration. She's sitting in the seat. Everyone else is standing. Ramona has a Branzino coming to the table.
Oh my gosh, she would have a Branzino.
Right,
she would have a Branzino.
And it's like, sweetie, no one has even sat down. But this is, and I'm like, okay, so I'm observing all of this now, and like
oh my god, did anyone throw anything? Were glasses thrown? Nothing.
Legs thrown.
Legs.
No one threw anything. So that's really how the show started, and then a lot of things happened. And then the other day was an interview, and then I realized like it morphed into a 5-day-a-week interview show. And I still have, not like a shameless plug for my paid Patreon account, but I have these stories still exist. They just exist behind the iron wall of my Patreon.
Behind the iron wall.
I'm so glad you brought up your Patreon. I just listened to your little excerpt that you guys posted today. Wow.
Mary Cosby.
The Mary Cosby of it all. When I tell you my jaw hit the floor, I was not privy to that actual interview that her cousin did. And so you guys actually posted some excerpts from that, correct? On your Patreon.
Yep. Which my guest for the day, I didn't hear it either, but it came from Bravo. Now people know that listen, my podcast is a thing. And so I can't micromanage everything, but if something blatantly, it's like, I'm like, you're not crediting us. And I don't care. Like I'm past that, but sometimes you catch me on a day and I will call a bitch out. I'll be like,
I love it.
Like, sorry, and the last time I did this, we don't even need to mention with who, it was with a pretty big YouTube person. And then I was like, listen, I'm just going to basically tell you to fuck off to your face. Like, I'm from New York. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and now we're friends. So listen, I'm like, when you watch the Housewives and you're like, wait, more happens on an evening of Roni than any other show. That is New York. That's how I live my life too.
Yeah.
Like I literally, that's just me. Like I will hate you and we got to work this issue out. But wait, I just told you to fuck off because you didn't credit me. You now are apologizing. You're now crediting me. You're basically giving me everything I want.
Fine, let's go to dinner.
Right. Like I'm over it. Now it's like, and he's like, should we collaborate? I'm like, absolutely. This is great. This is great business sense.
Right.
So were you the first person then that broke this story?
Well, this thing with Mary, so that's Bravo. Like Bravo,
Yeah.
I don't really know who Bravo is, but I'm giving credit so no one calls me. And I even give Bravo credit on this. So my guess was like, oh, this is from Bravo. I'm like, great. But because we were doing this thing about Mary anyway, and she was like, oh, I have this interview, let's include it. But we were just doing a deep, like, you know, let's analyze why really, you know, why did Mary really not come to the reunion? And that's where we go.
You guys, I invite you to go and listen to that. It's an 8-minute clip that's on your Spotify. I listen on Spotify.
I give little clips. So like, if you don't want to pay, you can at least hear where we're going. And like, listen, if you like what you hear, pay. I mean,
exactly. I was going to say,
by the way, paying is like, I mean, there's different levels. It's like 4, 6, it's not a lot of money, guys.
What level do we have to be at to get that juicy interview?
Well, so today, what is today? This is how it works. It's like, it goes by the Saturday because there's a bonus episode every Saturday. So for this one, it's like the second most advanced level. You have to pay $12. I mean, but by the way, you don't just get all the other money. For $12. So listen, you get all the other past things.
Everything. Yeah. That's like the best $12 I'll ever spend.
We did a like worst of 2020. We did a best of. People were like, yay. When is the worst of? I'm like, it's next week. I do a top 10 every year. These are the actual worst interviews of the year. And it's not just on air. It's like, no, you behind the scenes, let me tell you what this person did to drive me to drink.
So I have a question for you then, since we're talking about, we're going to jump ahead just this one question, since we're talking about Mary Cosby and her not showing up to the reunion. Are you privy to the contracts between Bravo Lebs and the network? Like, how does that work? Because you do have some experience in the Bravo world because you were on Millionaire Matchmaker.
I signed a Bravo contract. Now, that was a long time ago. I mean, you can Google and find the episode. It is out there, as people seem to remind me.
We'll link it. If you don't want us to, we won't.
No, you could. Honestly, I'm not embarrassed of anything in my past, but it was from 2010. I was on Millionaire Matchmaker. So, I mean, I know, listen, I have to think, but I mean, I know a lot of these people. So I know without having signed a recent contract, because the contracts change, I mean, like, you do get money for going to the reunion. So you get dinged. So like, that's that rumor that she missed out on like $18,000. Yeah, that's true. The rumor also is that Erica Jane got $275,000 for her reunion. So
come on, but she barely said anything like compelling, I thought.
Right. I mean, so just, I think there's fact in a lot of rumors. So like, if everyone wants to know why Erica showed up for her torturing, I mean, you're not going to say no to $275,000 just to sit there and answer some questions.
Well, especially when you're in the red, right?
Right.
Well, Lauren, we actually just discussed this on our Patreon about these housewives like Jen Shah and Erica Jane and whether or not they can actually profit from their alleged criminal activity by renegotiating their contracts for next season. Like, I'm sure there's a major pay bump that's happening for Jen Shah and both Erica Jane.
I think so. So like, a lot of the contracts, it's, what the thing is like, it is different production companies. And that's really where it varies. Like, for instance, like in New Jersey and a lot of the others, but especially like in New Jersey, I know it's called favored nations. So like a Dolores will be making more than Margaret, let's not get into who contributes more. And I'm not shading it. It's just like Dolores was there longer. It really, yes, you have your Teresa that is now out of that and makes like $2 million, and Melissa's over $1 million. But like, it really is based on the years that you were there, with exceptions. And then Beverly Hills, yes, is a whole different thing, because now you have like the Denise Richards and you have these people that you need to bring in. But yes, do I think that Erica probably got a little something? It's like a double-edged sword, because like, you bring a lot, but then at the same time, you need the money. So, I mean, how much bargaining power would Erica really have? They're going to say, like, this whole thing with Bethanny coming back to New York. I do think Bethanny would come back. I don't think she needs the rumored $5 million, but like, okay, we're not giving you 5, we're giving you 4. She's probably not going to say no, but they're not going to give her 4. They cannot afford that. Like,
no, they can't.
So I think you have certain bargaining power up to
a certain extent. Yeah. So I have a question about like, I don't know how much you know about this, but like, you remember like the early seasons of Orange County when like Vicky started Wines by Wives, or like, you know, a lot of these women do products, like even Bethanny with Skinny Girl, like, or Kyle with the agency. They're advertising majorly on the show. And I'm wondering if you know anything about like whether they have to like, does the agency pay to advertise on Bravo, or does, you know what I mean? Or does it just, do you know?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I know it's called like the Bethanny Clause. Like Bethanny.
Oh.
Yeah, she was the ground zero with
ground zero. And I don't know how, but Bethanny got the like, you will not take a penny out of Skinny Girl. So that's why they now do it. Like there's a clause called, I mean, I don't know if it's officially in the contract called, but it's called the Bethanny Clause of like, they take a percentage of your Ramona, Pinot Grigio, anything that now this is where I don't know specifics. I mean, I could ask certain housewives when I talk to them off the record, but like, you know, like Meredith Marks, like what about when you have a business prior?
Exactly.
Right.
But you could see it both ways. It's kind of like Meredith Marks jewelry is definitely on the uptick from this show.
Right.
Not that it wasn't before. So I wonder how it works. Yeah. But I know like a true Ramona Pinot Grigio or Robin Dixon's hats like that. But then I wonder, like, how far does that extend?
Right. Right. Because it's like, there's just like, there's so many different businesses. There's in so many different stages of being a business that, yeah, I do wonder like who's getting what.
No, I mean, so I wonder, like, I know the product, that's how it works, but this is something that I've wondered in my spare time. Like, what about Countess Luann's Cabaret? I mean, if you think about it, what about books? Does it extend to books? I think it might. I think it might.
Yeah. Books, I'm sure have like editing power. I'm sure.
But like, do they get a percentage? And then like, what about like a Vita Tequila? I mean, you had this legitimate. So that's where it's like, I wonder how those contracts are negotiated. Yeah. But I know for a fact, if it's a true product that is on the show or even not, they get a percentage of that. So think about that. It's like
Shark Tank.
Yeah. And
it is like Shark Tank.
I mean, listen, I have such a not negative, but I have such a cynical like view of like how it all works. Just in the sense that like,
very jaded.
You just, I mean, like I say in my next life, I'm going to teach like when I had Vicky Gunvalson on, I had to counsel her through like the 5 stages of grief because it was right after she got fired. I'm like, in my next life, I'm going to have a consulting service of what to do before, during, and after your experience. It's just like, just get there and just, I mean, use them the way they're using you because they are. And when it's over and you are kicked out and the door's locked, sweetheart. And there's no coming back.
It's mutually beneficial and you have to maximize your time on that show. And certain people are better than others. But going back to the contract issue, I think if you're using the housewife name in any way or Bravo specifically in your product, I can absolutely understand a percentage of it going back to the network. But if you are coming in with a Vita Tequila, Meredith Marks, Skinny Girl, I don't agree with
you can also right. No, I don't either. And that's why it's like, but then at the same time, you could argue whatever. I mean, I don't know how it works. Like whatever Meredith Marks jewelry was before, it's great.
Right.
There is a percentage now. I mean, Brooks Marks tracksuits. I mean, but like,
oh God,
the Brooks Marks track. I want one.
Okay. Can I just tell you this?
Please tell us everything.
I knew Meredith before the Housewives.
Oh.
And I've known Meredith on the Housewives. She's been on my show twice.
We're going to have a conversation off the record about something, but
I have asked for this damn tracksuit on air. I have asked for this tracksuit. I mean, and now I'm just like,
where's your tracksuit?
I could buy one. Like at one point I was going to buy one and I'm like, where's my tracksuit? I've asked Brooks directly standing. I'm like, I'm not one to beg, but I would
But
like
I
a
will.
tracksuit. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you break this down for us? Is Meredith Marks wearing Brooks Marks' new feather collection on this season of the Housewives, or who is designing these ostrich atrocities?
Well, I know that she, in addition to Christian Cowan, Frederick Anderson, who lives in here in New York, she's really close to this designer, Frederick Anderson. And I think she wears a lot of his stuff too.
Wow.
Is
It's
it just ill-fitting, or
I don't
you don't have
see,
to comment on it? It's
No,
just
I
I'm
didn't-
fascinated by it.
I didn't mind. I actually have a famous fashion person coming up who on my show, I hate revealing guest support. And he was just like, yeah, no, the Salt Lake reunion looks were as bad as you think. I didn't think they weren't great, but I didn't think they were completely horrible.
I thought they were the Project Runway ones, like, because I didn't watch Project Runway. And so when everyone was like, oh, they did the Housewives outfits on Project Runway, and I saw the reunion looks, I was like, oh, those are really great. Like for Project Runway, like you have a day, but
Well, Giselle actually wore hers. I don't think Giselle's won, but Giselle wore hers to her reunion. Giselle was
She looked
wearing,
so good.
yeah. I
and
Giselle
I think
a lot.
Luann was going to, but we never had
But
the
she
New
wore
York
her
reunion.
She wore her wedding dress
Ooh.
instead that night.
Yes.
I love her.
Luann is just, when you look at Housewives, I mean, she's top 10. Like, right?
Oh.
Like she's
She's stunning, by the way.
stunning.
Her
So-
body on
Oh, yeah.
Ultimate Girls Trip, like
Mhm.
her body is ridiculous. However old I don't even know how old she is. Like she is flawless. She's timeless. She's gorgeous. But anyways,
She
moving
is.
on.
She
Moving
is.
on.
I need to get into, we talked a little bit about it at the front, but I need to get into the Kelly Dodd, Rick Leventhal. I need to get waist deep in this because I'm knee deep right now and I want to go deeper.
Let's go.
That interview was, I would call it a Kelly Dodd, Rick Leventhal monologue hosted by you, because I feel like you just got to give little tidbits, you know,
You were
and they
like,
just
you were like the
took
moderator.
off.
So here's the thing, a couple of things. First of all, when I do all of these interviews, you know, everyone's like this and that. First of all, I never ask anyone to like the guest. Everyone's always apologizes
Right.
to me. I'm like, you don't have to like the guest today. Like you're not insulting me. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing my job. B,
Right.
it really is B, I don't, and this is nothing with Kelly and Rick, but B, I don't like all the guests. I have people on that I either don't like or don't even know who they are sometimes. Very
Right.
rarely. But I've had situations where like a network or a manager or a publicist has picked someone and I'm like, oh my God, this person is so on brand for my show. I don't particularly watch, you know, Floribama Shore, but
Right.
that's on brand. I mean,
Yeah.
these reality people that are listening
Yeah.
to. So I need to now go figure out who the hell this is.
Right.
This woman is lovely that I interviewed. And okay, well, I just didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
But so I don't like every guest. But yeah. And third, it's really my job to not have an opinion. It's my job to
Right.
get the facts. And so that's just that. But having said that, the two things I just don't want to talk about on my show, I'm not afraid of cancellation. I just don't want to talk about COVID or politics on my show.
We
Oh
feel
It's
the
my
not
same.
God.
interesting.
It's just
It's
there's
everywhere.
too much around already that
Exactly.
it's like we're doing
Right.
this podcast to not be talking about that. But wow, yeah, that was like the whole thing was just like, we're not conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy. I'm like, okay, this is so fun, like to listen to.
Well,
It was wild.
That's the thing also is like, and it's both ways. I had comedian Judy Gold on. I don't know if everyone knows Judy. I'm just using this as one example.
Yeah.
She trashed Trump and it was like interspersed in between all sorts. I'm like, I'm not editing this. Like, and I
Right,
don't
you
really
can't.
edit anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mind you, this country is split no matter what you say or the world. Like, so
Right.
when that came out, I got all these like hates and I'm like, so it goes both ways, whether
Right.
someone's,
Yeah.
but that's just an example. But with Kelly and Rick, it's like, so normally, but with Judy, like normally when the bus that I'm driving goes off the rails, I normally can like, you know, after 3 years, like maneuver the bus back on the
Right.
highway and get just past the exit. And we got off the exit and that was a detour, but we're back.
Yeah.
As you say with Kelly and Rick, I'm like, Daddy was, I mean, it took me forever to get this bus. I'm like, how is it that this is a Housewives podcast and I have 1,000 Housewives questions? And why are we talking about masks and COVID
I know.
and all this other shit?
I was like, we have so many questions, Kelly. Like, we know your thoughts and opinions because they're all over the internet. Like, tell us the good stuff.
So you had asked them about their new show or something. It was like a very just general question. They spiraled for about 7 minutes and ended up talking about her political beliefs, COVID, mask mandates in Orange County, then asked you about mask mandates in New York City. And my mind was blown because they were, and then they were almost like parrots. Whatever Rick would say, Kelly would say. Kelly had said something, Rick would,
parrot
it. Yeah. And it was
kind of making me laugh.
It was crazy.
It was, and like, listen, here's the thing, and we got the Housewives questions in, but listen, Kelly and Rick, and I can say this with certainty, because I mean, I've been told this directly from them, like they really have this, and I disagree with this model. Like I will go on, I feel the best way to promote a podcast is to go on other podcasts. They truly feel that like, why would we go on any other podcast and say anything? We have our own.
Oh yeah.
Which I mean, that's a fact. I've been pretty much, to me, it was finally like, how I got Kelly and Rick on my show?
How?
No. By my good friend, the one, the only Miss Leah Black from Miami.
I really love.
Oh my God,
Leah!
I have her book. I need to read it.
She's great. I mean, she was on my show, and we just became friends. And she was like, "No, I don't. This is not This is not the normal podcast. This is amazing. Go on. He's phenomenal. You're gonna love." So Leah was like, and literally one text from Leah, my phone was ringing. Like literally, it was like seconds later. Like Leah said, we should come on. And I'm like, finally. So no, the power of Leah Black. This is really
the power of Leah Black.
Kelly even tweeted it. She's like, look at all like this. And also not for nothing, my show gets a ton of press.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is said with no ego, but that is how I get a lot of guests. They're like, I want the press. And Kelly and Rick were like, so that's why they agree. Listen, I have no regrets. I would have Kelly and Rick back tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And
I just want to say quickly, I feel that to answer your question, they are like, we don't do podcasts. Leah says to, we'll do it. We also want press, and we see he gets a lot of press. But I do feel they came on. Listen, a lot of people do with their own agenda of like,
of course,
we're going to give you what you want, but we are talking anti-mask and everything we want to, which okay. I mean, it's not my place to
tell
debate.
you what to talk about.
Right. Yeah. Like I tried to change the subject as quickly as possible, which didn't work as much as it works in other situations, but it's not my place to say I disagree. It's, my job really is, here's your opinion.
Yeah. You're facilitating conversation. Yeah. That's your job. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I loved that you did have them on. And during the interview, you just kept saying like, I value, like, that is your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with you, but it's nice that you aren't doing what they're doing, I guess, in only speaking to specific people or, talking about a specific thing behind a paywall. Like you're open to hearing all different types of perspectives and opinions.
Yeah,
totally. And, for everyone who made all these nasty comments and blah, 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 there were plenty of people. I mean, I would never do this. Just A, I don't have the time, and B, I don't care enough. But I can't tell you how many people slipped into my DMs to say how thrilled they are that Kelly and Rick were on, and they agree, and how refreshing it is that two people can speak the truth.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
So it's like, I mean, you can say that in the comments, like no one's gonna, and so, but I also have to say, oh my God, here we go. Even though I say we don't want to talk about this, like the only thing I want to say is, so it really is my job to not express my opinion. That is my job. I will not express it. And same thing, she was also trashing Heather Dubrow a lot. And to me, it was like, that happens all the time where someone trashes someone. And it's like, whatever I think about this person, I agree or don't. That's not my job either. I mean, by the way, I'm going to turn around and I want Heather on my show. So
1,000%.
Feel that like I don't really you can trash Heather. Absolutely. That is I get that was part of this interview. Of course that was coming, but it's weird because it happens all the time. And it's like, I just kind of sit there in silence because I don't want any soundbite to be where it's like, yes, great,
exactly.
like whatever. Because I don't.
You're disengaging, in the words of Miss Marks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're truly a housewife moderator. Like you are sitting back, you're asking the important questions, you're letting them talk. It's like a political debate.
It's a political debate. Now, I do think, and then this is the only thing I'm going to say on the matter, is I definitely do think that, and even Ebony Williams said this on my show, like, I do think that we have somehow confused A, race, B, political views, and C, COVID. Those are three completely. Now, I understand that the three of them sometimes align with one, but not always. So Kelly's political views versus her mask views and vax views versus her race views.
Right.
And that's just
exactly.
That's for me for every person. And I just don't understand how we like
conflate them
this all together, because and even Ebony, I didn't bring it up. Ebony brought it up on my show, being like, when did I talk politics, other than one situation with Ramona, saying as women, can't we just be happy that a woman is in the White House?
Yeah.
Ebony's like, if you really play it back, I never brought up politics at all the whole season, because it's not my thing. I don't care. And I'm like, you're right. So she said it, but that was like the turning point for me of like, you're right. Like people lump these three things together.
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of her Drunk Wives Matter hat. And she seems to think Kelly is adamant that she was fired because of the Drunk Wives Matter hat. And she was forced to pay $16,000. And she's like, I don't know why they said general behavior. And I think it was my hat. Do you think it was the hat? Like, is it the hat?
I mean, so first of all, as far as contracts with housewives, like I know for a fact there is, I don't know to what extent, but there is definitely this, and Bravo, I think, is not really agreeing with Kelly on this statement that she was fined $16,000 for that.
Okay.
But there is this, like, what is the word? You do get fined for things. Now, I personally have heard stories from different housewives, like if you go on an interview that you weren't you didn't ask permission, and it's like you get fined for different things. Now, mind you, I think this fining is like, I've heard 500, 1,000. One time I heard 2,000, 200. I've never heard of a $16,000 fine.
Yeah, that's like an NFL fine. that's like if you're making multi-million-dollar contract.
This is where you just listen. Reality TV contracts in general are one-sided and hard.
Right.
You should check out my interview with Jason Lee. I don't know if you know who he is. He runs Hollywood Unlocked. It is like one of the biggest, biggest platforms. It's like Black Twitter, Black media. Like he covers, and he was on Love and Hip Hop back in the day.
Ooh.
And he was starting Hollywood Unlocked at the same time. And he's gay, and he's like, you're not gonna have me back and be like that, token, throw a drink in your face. And he got
the guy sitting next to Jenny.
He basically told VH1 to go fuck themselves and got out of his contract. It's like
good.
So, and he couldn't believe I brought up. He's like, no one brings that up. I'm like, I know what these contracts are. It's so, I mean, he's so interesting he has no fear in the world. He's the one that broke the Tristan. He's the one that broke, he broke Jordan Woods. Yeah.
Oh God.
Right. He broke that story.
God bless that man.
Yeah.
He deserves an Oscar.
Really right. So it's just an interesting story, but right. So he challenged it. He's like, no one ever brings this up. And I'm like, I find this so interesting that you're not an indentured
servitude.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Like you're getting paid to do a specific job, and it's a contractual thing. And I can understand that the Bravo wouldn't want members of their, I guess, employment roster, posting wildly inappropriate things on Instagram. I felt like if it's true that she had to pay $16,000 because of the hat, I find that a little beyond, but I also don't know how much money she makes or if that's the truth, but
I think she was probably fined something close to this overall. I mean, I don't know if it was just for the hat. I mean, I don't think she was fired just for the hat. It's not, I think it was the ratings are down and we have to revamp this whole show. and we're obviously going to get rid of Bronwyn. I mean, whenever when people say to me like I've been saying something about New York, which we can get into, which I think is going to come true. I've been saying it for a year. No one listens to. I just think like a producer, and this is no ego, but like I don't get into like I can't explain it. I don't really have any dogs or horses in the race,
right?
Who I like and who I don't like. I just really have I have human beings when I meet them and talk to them,
right?
Yeah,
I really think of like from a producer point of view, this person's going, and people are like, no. I'm like, no, of course they are, and then they do. So like with Kelly, I just think the bottom line is like, does it matter? Does anything matter more than Heather coming back? Like she wasn't, there's no way. I mean, Heather denies this in other interviews. And I just think like whether Heather said it directly or not, I'm not coming for anyone, but like, there's no way. And I think the fact that Kelly said on my show, I was fired for politics. That's possibly part of it. But that's the thing. It's like that's where I get into like, we fired, and I talk about this, like the Mary Cosby thing I just did. I have a deep dive coming up on Jenny Nguyen next.
That's what I was. Yeah. I feel like she got fired because she wasn't going to come back anyway.
Mary. But then Jenny, it's like, I mean, listen, okay, so we have this statement by Bravo that we will not tolerate this or that, but it's like, okay, I feel that we fired Stassi and Kristen and Jax eventually, and now all hell is broken loose on Vanderpump Rules. Does anyone care about Vanderpump Rules anymore? Right.
No.
So we have a ratings plummet, and we have a show no one cares about. And I feel that in retrospect, it's picking and choosing. Like, is this an example that we fired a first-year housewife that she grew on me a little bit, but she certainly didn't stand out with Meredith?
Exactly.
Lisa. So we're now, I mean, that's not shocking that this person was fired because but we're not going to fire. I mean, this is my example. I mean, Catherine Dennis, I mean, okay, like we could get into like whether she, people have said she uses like the monkey emoji all the time with all her friends. But we're not But we're not firing her. This is going to be a teaching lesson on air because Catherine Dennis, without her, unless it's so egregious, like, we're not going to have Southern Charm without Catherine Dennis. Sorry, we're not going to have New York City without Ramona. So it's like
it's a risk and benefit analysis.
Yeah,
I feel it's not. Yeah, I feel we're not. And everything that's going on now with Below Deck. I don't know if you watch Below Deck.
Yes, with
Raina. She's I don't know if you saw recently, she said she's holding court on Instagram and the reunion was bullshit. And the whole editing and reunion was just to make Eddie look good because Eddie's going to be the new Captain Lee, which I could see all this. Like,
me too.
And she's like, and she's saying like, I think when you're not coming back to a show and you really don't care, she's just like, I'm just going to tell you the truth of what happened.
Right.
Like, do it. That's her stance. Like, do with this what you want, but this is what actually happened. And I'm never coming back to this network. So I'm just going to clear the air and tell. I tend to believe her. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, other than being thirsty for 15 minutes, she doesn't seem that way. You know what I mean? She seems to be like, this is what actually happened. And of course I didn't get this edit at the reunion because Eddie's coming back. Eddie's which I get it. Right.
I mean, they're going to need a new captain that we all love and adore if Captain Lee doesn't want to do it anymore. And I don't know. I believe Raina for a ton of reasons. Like, I also think that even if she did sign an NDA, because I'm sure there's NDAs and all these things, at the end of the day, that's a piece of paper. And all you have to think about is like, am I okay paying this fine?
Right. And
to break this piece of paper.
And I feel that in my experience as a lawyer, like companies don't sue. It's the opposite. It's people sue. So it's kind of like, why not break? It's like, you're not going to be sued because they're afraid of you suing them. So if you do, unless it's like so egregious, unless it's like, I don't know.
Complete BS,
right? Like
accusing
Richards
of bad things. Yeah.
Erica and Lisa Rinna leave and start Beverly Hills 2 Housewives on a rival network. Well, that's
Yeah.
not happening. Okay.
Right.
Like it's got to be so big. And that's the other thing, just from having a lot of people on my show, like what goes on social media and all this like reality blurb. And I mean, these places are great. They all run my show, but like the world doesn't really know. Like we know, but it doesn't really filter through the world.
Yeah.
It's like Bravo doesn't really care. Like all the chatter that we think is so shocking, it's not as big as we think. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so they're not going to sue Raina. They're not going to spend $1 on that. They're going to want her to go away.
They'll fire her.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not.
She'll
have
never come
anything-
back.
Never.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not great for any network like Nene. I don't think Nene is employable anymore personally.
Yeah.
Really?
I think when you, I don't know, when you really challenge like Stassi is like Stassi has a new book.
Yeah.
I mean, Stassi hired, $10,000 a month, like Howard Bregman. And now it's like, think about it. I mean, we think of Stassi as a mother now. Like,
It's
she's
so true.
Perception has
herself.
changed.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And yes, people are criticizing her new book but like Stassi never took on a network. So I think that you can come back from being canceled for quote unquote being racist. I don't think you can come back from challenging the big guys.
Yeah.
Like,
That's so crazy to hear you say that. Like, that's a crazy thing to hear.
and by the way, people, again, I'm not interjecting my opinion.
This is alleged. We're all having
Alleged
fun.
speculation.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but like I'm not saying bravo to Stassi and I'm just giving you my opinion of how it actually works. I'm not saying whether it's right or not. I'm just saying this is how the real world behind closed doors works. And I'm not being condescending. I'm just like, I think I skip over that like emotion part of it and like, let's keep my feelings out of it. I'm just saying like, but I think Nene, I think it's too much. It's like out there that she was claiming racism against Andy and Bravo.
Yeah.
I don't think that's working with Ryan Murphy tomorrow. The rumor was she was going to be on Celebrity Big Brother. She's not. Teddy and Cynthia are. Like, I don't think Nene is, I don't think people want to touch her. I don't. I think once you get the litigious reputation,
you're done.
You're done.
You're done. Please leave, in the words of Miss Dubrow.
Speaking of theories, you briefly talked about your theory about New York.
Oh yeah. What is your theory about New York?
Are you able to talk about it?
I mean, listen, I have been saying this for so long. I don't need to be proven right because I don't have a gossip podcast, but I have argued with housewives over this, past and present. No one believes me. I mean, and I know people that have been contacted that are in the mix for the new season. Like,
oh my gosh,
I am standing by what I said a year ago. And now that it's getting closer to this, I'm thinking that like what I predicted, which people have made me think, I think like Ebony is definitely out.
Yes. Yeah, I think so
Leah
too.
is definitely out.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I could be. But in my opinion of thinking like a producer, and now things I'm hearing, Ebony's out, Leah's out, Sonya's out.
Oh, my girl.
I know.
Have to.
That one hurt my feelings.
That hurt my feelings because like we need her to have an income. I need her to have.
She divorced the bank. I think she's fine.
Sonya doesn't even live in New York at the moment. I mean, the townhouse is rented and she's in Florida.
Oh, wow.
So again, now she would go take herself up at a hotel if she got the salary of $790,000 for another season.
She'll live at the plaza or whatever.
Yeah. It'll all work out. But I think like Ramona is in.
Yeah.
Luann is
they're gonna
in.
Stick with Ramona and Luann and get rid of the newbies.
Get rid of those other three, and 90%, because everyone's now saying three. It's three. We're going to, just like I've said for a year, Tinsley's going to be back. 100%.
Oh, good. I love her.
Okay. We love Tinsley.
Think about it. Like people are like this one, that one. I'm like, you have to think like forget what people want.
Right.
Like, is Dorinda a classic housewife? Absolutely. Is she going to go down in history as whatever? Yes. But where the show is and is going, Dorinda is off brand. That is not
Yes.
an insult. That is
No.
not,
No.
she's not, you cannot have Dorinda with Ramona and Luann. It's too much. It's
It
not
is a
going
lot.
to be with an integrated cast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, I've said this for a year, that Luann and Ramona are in, and the only two people that really are on brand to bring back are Tinsley and Bethanny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even Tinsley in a way more than Bethanny. Bethanny would have that Heather Dubrow effect and save the
Right.
show.
Mhm.
But it's not happening. Bethanny is not coming back. They cannot afford her. She's
No.
not doing it. And so if you think about it, I mean, people were like, Jill, I'm like, Jill Zarin will never, ever
No.
be back on the New York Housewives. There's 0% chance. Let me just state that.
Yeah.
So now let's keep going. Like Kelly Ben Simone. I mean, I think she's epic, but no, she's not. It's not going to work. Like, so
Right.
if you really think about it, the only person on brands, they don't want somebody to stand out. They want a team player.
They want some sheeps.
It's
So do you
Tinsley.
think
And
it'll
think
only
about
be
it
them?
also. Out of the past, yes, those
And they'll
three.
add new ones.
4. They'll add 4 more.
Oh,
They'll add
Okay,
4 more. And by the way, think about it. Like Tinsley, I mean, Ramona's in West Palm, where Tinsley is right now. Like, I
Right.
mean, that's Ramona spends her winters. Think about it. Tinsley has no problem with Ramona. I mean, Ramona likes anyone, richer. Like Ramona
Oh, yeah.
is nice to you if you're above her in her mind on the social scale of life.
yeah.
Tinsley's up there. And Tinsley never had a problem with Ramona or Luann. And think about it. We saw Tinsley basically get like pushed to the corner by Dorinda, who's not there. And Tinsley's single and has
Yeah.
Tinsley also doesn't live in New York either, FYI.
Yeah,
but
right,
she will.
right.
She will for this. And maybe she'll be a friend of, but Tinsley is 100%. Well, not 100%, but I've been saying
Front-runner.
all along,
Yeah.
she's the only, and now that people are starting to say there's three, I'm like, yeah, this is my predictions are going to come true.
It's all coming up roses now.
It's
Yeah.
We
those
love-
2 plus
we
Tinsley
love
and
Tins.
4 others. And Tinsley, I think, will come back now different. I do. I think she'll come back with a voice. I mean, think about it. It's like when you come on a show, any show, like Crystal Kong on Beverly Hills. Well, I mean, it's hard to have a voice your first season when the whole show, the whole world is talking about Erica Jane. Like when
Right.
Tinsley came on with Bethanny and Dorinda and Ramona. And so, I mean, it's different now. Now it's like these 3 with a bunch of newbies. I bet you Tinsley will be speaking up. And
Mhm.
I was going to say, she has an incredible storyline that needs to be told. We've done a deep dive on her legal issues, actually. And our perception of her and perspective of her was we did a complete 180. I
Mhm.
hope she comes back to Housewives and uses her voice to speak out against domestic violence, about her past relationships, talk about the Coupon King, and just like have a moment of empowerment, like female empowerment.
Yeah.
And I
Need
mean,
her. Need
and I
her.
do think the world is now like, we want really rich New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tinsley and
Is
Bethanny
money.
are the only 2 that I can think of that are real money. Yeah, Ramona
Yeah.
has money, but I mean like Beverly Hills real.
Right. Like I
Tinsley's
want that
real money.
deep money that's almost a little too dark for TV. Like I want that.
Yes, like Sutton Strack. Like she doesn't talk
Exactly.
about money, but
Uh-huh.
you just are like, wait, like in the background, wait, I spot like 13,000 Birkin bags. Like, wait,
Right.
it's those little
exactly.
that's how Tinsley is. She's like,
Yeah.
just
Wealth
like, yeah,
whispers.
I just
Yeah.
needed a new bag. Well, your new bag was like $95,000, sweetie. Like,
Right.
I'm telling you, it's going to be Tinsley, Ramona, and Luann. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
I
Like,
hope
I
so.
mean, I think it, and I bet you those 3 are aligned. I bet you it's going to be like
The oldies versus
Yep.
the newbies.
and I do think there might be one person added that's white, Upper East Side, truly connected to those,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because I know someone in the mix, but I think the other 3, that will be, so 4, it's going to be diverse. We're not going to have like, here's our token
Yeah.
black. No, it's going to be,
No.
this is New York. There's
Yeah.
real
An accurate representation of New York.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be, yeah. I mean, listen, will that fix the show? I don't know. I mean, I thought Heather Dubrow coming back to the OC would
Right.
fix it. I like this season of the OC, but a lot of people don't.
Love
And the
it.
ratings are not stellar. I think it's a great season, but
I
not
love
everybody
it.
does. Same here.
No,
I'm
I'm
like-
insane. Well, really quickly, speaking of money,
Yeah. Speaking of
Yes.
money.
We want to transition into Erica Jane. We want to get your legal perspective on Erica Jane and Jen Shaw. So you've never interviewed her before, right?
Never Erica Jane or
Have
Jen
you
Shaw, no.
tried?
Yes, but like not. It was like
Barely.
once legal is involved,
Right.
a
It's like
whole
you're done.
thing.
Yeah.
I was
That's
closer to
interesting.
interviewing Jen Shaw than Erica before all of this.
But you
all
got
of this.
Koa on your Patreon, right? Who she cussed out and screamed and verbally abused. Jen Shaw did. Allegedly.
I did, and Koa.
Alleged, I mean, listen to the audio.
Yeah. And Koa is on I did my best of the year interviews
Uh-huh.
and my worst of. Koa is on one of those lists, one of those top
Ooh.
10s. And by the way, it's not just like, here's the number, here's Koa. It's like, here's why Koa's made either the best or the worst list. Let me explain to you how this all went down and why he's on one of these lists.
Yes. Okay, wait. So really quickly about Erica Jane. What are your thoughts and opinions just briefly on what she's been going through, how she handled last season? What do you think her future is, I guess, with Housewives and legally?
I mean, and I've had other lawyers on too. I mean, I truly feel somehow I just feel Erica is gonna walk away from all of this.
Oh yeah, me too.
And mind you, I think as an edit, we're not having another season of Erica.
Oh,
Erica.
good. I hope not. I really hope
Jesus. Yeah.
I think if things happen in her life,
not.
I mean, I also think that she probably said, and I think it was mutual if she's like, come on, guys, really? And I think they even said to her, I do think there was a text, an email, a phone call from Andy and whoever, and just to say like, listen, thank you.
Right.
Like you have weathered the storm.
Yeah.
Right.
And next season, it's not. I mean, I think as things happen,
Mhm.
it will be part of her story in one sentence, 3. But I think this is like, we have a home invasion now. Lois has passed away. We have new housewives, Garcelle and this whole new thing about blocking and who's there coming for air. I think there's going to be drama, but it's not going to just be like, did she know? Did she not know? They're going to edit it. But I do think Erica is going to walk away from this eventually.
Okay, wait.
Mhm.
You just said 2 words that sent a chill down my spine.
Tell me.
Home invasion.
Yeah, home invasion.
Home invasion.
Really quick, thoughts, opinions,
Horrible.
speculations, assumptions, alleged, whatever.
I mean, listen, I do think that, listen, I talked to a lot of 1 season housewives or 2 seasons, and the story is always the same. Every time they're not upset, they're over it, but they're just like, I came on, I brought my real life. I don't know why it didn't work. I'm like, sweetie, nobody wants to know about your real life.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So I do think that you either have the gene or you don't. We make bad casting decisions every year. I don't know how. I don't know how when there is a line out the door of so many people that want the coveted spot,
Right.
how you make that incorrect choice, but we just don't know. I mean, if you think about it, Erica, Dorinda, there are people that right out of the gate, you're like, holy shit, you got it right.
Mhm.
Like, whether you like the person or not, it was a good. So I don't know how we make bad decisions, but I feel that when the housewives are there forever, not forever, but like 6, it's just like you have the gene, you understand the assignment, you've become a caricature of yourself. And I mean, I've talked to housewives that have said like, okay, well, like, let's save it for the show. Like you will do anything to stay on the show, anything.
And we'll leave it at that.
And so, I mean, no, but like, then I was going to say like, listen, I mean, that is so sick if that is a staged thing, and then you get into like, well, it was early and like this and that. And it's just all so
convoluted.
It's convoluted.
The moment that investigation is closed, we will be requesting a copy of that police report because I just need to know. I know we'll never get the witness statements or anything, but I just need a little bit more information. And it will be, I'm intrigued at how it's going to play out on screen because I think they were filming, like they had just started filming when that story broke.
I mean, that doesn't help the case, does it? Like, it doesn't help that it was like the day they were supposed to, it's all
right.
It's the timing.
PK wasn't sus. There. Yeah. There's some there. It's sus. Exactly.
Right. It's not like, listen, I mean, people are like, oh my God, that's so like stranger things have happened in the world, right? Did we ever think Erica Jane would be in this situation? It's
No.
not like we're talking about like, I mean, stranger things have happened than staging a home invasion when you are a housewife.
Right.
That is
Allegedly.
rumored to be like, not in the upper
Right.
echelon of like, you just do process of elimination. Eventually someone has to go.
Mhm.
I mean, I think at this point, Dorit prior to this wasn't in the top, like not,
Right.
like, I don't know if she was really the next on the chopping block, but I think if you start to eliminate, she was close to it.
I think she was.
So
not
who do
right.
you, for speaking of chopping block, one question that I have for you before we close up is who do you think is next on the legal chopping block? Like we have a lot of new faces coming. We have a lot of old faces coming back. Like who do you think is sus? If you don't mind.
Said, well, I mean, I don't know if this could be my answer because we're kind of past this now, but like, I mean, I'll think of another answer too. But I said, on my Patreon episode today, again, not a shameless plug, like with Mary, we go deep on, I don't think Mary skipped the reunion because of racist claims. I don't think she was afraid of facing everyone. I mean,
No.
Mary says, I'm not racist. I fuck off.
Right.
Period. The end. God judges me and I'm not racist. I feel Mary skipped the reunion not because she had a answer for saying this about Jenny's eyes or that comment about Mexicans,
Right.
I know it's like that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother hour podcast.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I feel Mary skipped the reunion in that she didn't really, unlike Lisa Barlow and all her colleagues, Mary didn't really know what Housewives was. You know what I mean? And she got cast. And I think Mary sees what happened to Erica and sees what happened to Jet. And I think Mary's like, oh shit, like this is too much exposure for my church. I think Mary and all the Gucci and all the Chanel and everything, when she comes, like I think Mary has whatever it is, she has a good thing going.
Yeah.
Even though now the sign for the church is down and apparently the church, but whatever it is,
church sign is down.
That's a whole nother thing. Why? So I feel Mary was like, listen, you almost have to give her credit. Like, at least you're not a fame whore like some other people that will ride this train. Like, I think Mary was like, don't just move on to someone else.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Move on.
I have a theory about the church sign coming down. Since a church is technically open to the public, I think that she was getting bombarded with people coming in and visiting, and were really compromising her congregation and what she was doing in terms of having services and holding services. So I'm wondering if they went like underground for a little bit and then they're going to resurface and go somewhere else.
I think that, because let me tell you, sweetheart, when next time I'm in Salt Lake, I'm going to go walk by.
I'm going with you.
I would have gone to a service. Like, I mean,
I'm going to go get my lips injected at Beauty Lab, and I'm going to head up my ass down and go sit and watch Mary Cosby give a service.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I do have to say, and I've said this before, and it got me in trouble. I got DMs and we got into a huge fight. But I mean, when I told him to fuck off, I will not be silenced. Like,
no,
I also don't understand. I don't understand Dorit and PK. I don't understand how they live. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
I don't either.
We've done a little deep dive on them. We have a PK episode, and it is quite interesting.
Right. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it just, and by the way, and I stand by this also, again, I don't know, like, I'm sure that Dorit's friends shop on, Rodeo Drive where, the dress is $25,000.
Right.
Absolutely. Dorit is getting free clothes and products from Dorit is not getting free Louis Balenciaga.
No.
They are not giving, maybe they give that to Nicole Kidman, the spokesperson, or Dorit Kemsley is not getting thousands of dollars of Louis Vuitton so
for
she
free.
Can wear it on a reality show.
Right.
Period. The end.
That's
not how it works.
Who do you think she's getting it? You think she's really buying it?
I think so. I do.
I think she rents it.
You do? I mean,
That's
she said to Andy on the thing, like on the reunion, she was like, no, designers, like when he asked, like at the reunion, he was like so shocked. How does this work? And maybe she rents it. But the thing is, it's like current season. Like, it's the current season. And then that just also goes into the like when people are saying like, did you need a new wardrobe? Like, was this part of this
Right.
insurance claim? Like, was it time to get new? I don't know, but
Spruce it up.
I don't understand because those outfits are thousands and thousands. And she's not getting it for free. And so that's why I don't understand. I don't get like, so they're my second one. That's I agree with you. Away from a scandal. It's not that strange. It's nothing personal. Like Sutton Strack has money. She's not misbehaving herself. She's not doing something on the side. You know, she's like going out and drinking and living. And I mean, there's certain, I don't get it. It is like Garcelle. She's working and she doesn't, I mean, Garcelle lives in a modest house.
Yeah. Right. Garcelle is the most normal housewife. I love her so much.
My God. She's one of my favorites. I'm excited that we might hopefully get to know even more about her next season if Erica's storyline gets to take a backseat, because I really like Garcelle.
I want Garcelle's friends to come on. When we have those little...
We have one. We have Will Smith's ex-wife as a housewife or a friend of.
Oh, yeah. The rumors. All the rumors are true.
It's true. But you know what I mean? So those are my answers. Mary, but I think Mary kind of is like, you know what? Listen, we're even moving on from Erica. I think we forget things very quickly. I think Mary's like, just let me duck, like go worry about someone else. And Mary's like, thank God, Jenny, all this happened. Cause like,
I know.
Like, let me just fade away. Don't worry about me.
I still haven't watched the Jenny apology video. I need to do that. I just I don't have it in me.
It's pretty cringeworthy.
I can already predict what she is going to say.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very scripted. It's not going to be genuine. It's going to be very.
And it also raises, like, people are now coming after Lisa in the sense that, listen, like, I do stand by my friends. I mean, me personally. Now, I might think you're like, if Jenny were my friend, I might be totally repulsed by everything you've done. And this is so cringeworthy. And I do not support any of this. But like, as my friend, I would stand by you as a human. Like, that's just how I am.
Absolutely.
And people are like, Lisa really just, you know, I'm not coming for you, Lisa, but Lisa really like kind
she's all bye.
You're all like, let's go.
Yeah, you can't be held accountable for what your friends post on social media or do behind the scenes. Like, I'm sure Lisa obviously friends with Jenny because Jenny seems to be a very nice person. And Lauren and I said this on our Patreon of Jenny's not exhibited any racist behavior on the show or made any insinuation that she believes or is racist, I guess, to other people. And so, I mean, unless you do a deep dive on her Facebook, I would have never known. I would have never assumed that. I was quite surprised.
I would love to know who finds these things.
That is what we said.
Me too. And what took you so long?
Yeah, who had it? Somebody were they just holding it in their back pocket until the reunion, and they were just going to drop this bomb? Or
I mean, does this all?
I bet it was Mary.
Right, I was just going to say, like, you know, Jen has gotten some federal things here now. I mean, is Mary really just one of those people who's like,
fuck it, you're racist. Watch,
just come at me, and I'm okay. I'm going to add you to the list, and we're gonna. Mary might be one of those really deep people where it's like,
I mean, she did say she sends Jesus after you. If you come for her, she'll send Jesus after you, which is
I think
very scary.
Something is very happening. Scary. But so those are my answers. PK and Dorit after Mary, right? I mean,
I agree.
I'm sorry. I know we keep saying this is the last question.
Fine.
What have you heard the rumors about the Salt Lake City reunion where Andy Cohen has come or went on his Sirius podcast and said there is a huge bomb that drops in the reunion that nobody saw coming, and it involves two of the housewives?
Did he say it about the reunion or about the show? Like,
I think it's about the show, but it gets brought up at the reunion because, you know, the women obviously don't see like the last 5 episodes. They watch it right before they film. And so the women were not privy to it until the reunion. And so it's finally addressed there.
So it can't be this whole thing about Meredith, that Lisa. Did you read the quote that like what the full hot mic moment of Lisa is?
No,
I saw it right before we got on. It was beyond. She was pissed.
Whoa.
I mean, she brings up Seth and like you rent your house because you can't afford a real one because your husband has a. I mean, it's like
because your husband's got all these jobs, XYZ, like.
Whoa.
Nasty.
It's not just about her fucking half in New York. It's about all this other stuff too.
Right.
I mean, but then it's like, to me, my mind just goes to like, is this a hot mic moment? Like, why is nobody saying like, is this like, I asked Meredith this when she was on my podcast. I said, is Lisa Barlow LVP / Bethanny? Is she producing this show?
Producer. Yep.
And is she like, and I'm not coming for Lisa, but like, is this a hot mic moment? Or do you know, was this intentional because you want a good storyline?
Right.
I'm not so convinced it's a hot mic moment. That's just me.
Whoa. I can't wait to see the full thing then. And
I don't know if anyone's ever going to talk about that, but that's where my mind goes. Like breaking the fourth wall of like, is this like, are you sure you didn't want this out there? Are you sure? Because it certainly is juicy, Lisa.
It is juicy. And you know, the door needs its own like Housewives tagline, because my favorite thing is the hot mic moments where we only see a door. And I just love it.
We saw Michael Darby pinching someone's ass with the door.
Oh my God, I know.
Dark moment. Oh, dark
that
moment.
Closet. Who came out of the closet? Nini's closet with the poor cameraman.
Portia when they ripped the top.
Yeah. You just gotta have a door.
This one just, I don't know. This one stands out to me as like, is this a hot mic moment or is this like?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it from that perspective.
Yeah.
It's just where my mind goes. And that's what I asked me. I mean, this was before any of this. I just asked Meredith about like, I asked her about Cam, that scene with like Cam and like, you know, I didn't know.
Right.
I'm like, is Lisa like, is she the new Bethanny and LVP? And I mean, of course, Meredith gives a nice positive answer, but I think this season has changed Meredith. I think Meredith is starting to be like, I mean, she was very politically correct when she came on the first season on my show with Brooks. They came on together. This season, she threw more shade at people on my show than I thought she would, but nothing like where we are now. Like, I think this season might have changed Meredith, that she's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Good.
Salt Lake is such a good audition. Like, it's such a good idea. I wonder if they're going to try to retire, right? It's great.
I wonder who they're going to bring up next. Like, I hope we get a New Mexico. I don't know why. I'm just like really jonesing for another like
Texacanas.
Yeah, because like Dallas was just such trash that like I just want something else. Like, I don't know, or well, I guess we have Atlanta. Yeah, I don't know, just like some.
Did you ever watch? I mean, speaking of Mexico, did you ever watch Mexican Dynasties?
I did not.
I'm a Family Karma gal.
Family Karma. I had two of the people, Alana and Jenny Allende from Mexican Dynasties on my show. Mexican Dynasties, it was one season. It was
really,
they just got the right cast. It was literally about, I mean, it wasn't Housewives. It was like, you know, men, but it was just so interesting. I thought Family Karma is good too.
Didn't Mexican Dynasty come out though? It felt like it was poor timing. Was it like right when the pandemic hit? Something, because
I know it was before.
And Texacanas too.
Texacanas, I did not like at all. I could not get into it. No, Mexican Dynasties was, I think, 2019, before the pandemic. It was really good. It just, I don't know why it didn't work. I really don't. It was such a great show. Texacanas, I tried. I was like,
you can't win them all.
Isn't good to me. I don't know.
I'm a diehard Family Karma.
Family Karma, I thought season one was great, and I thought season two was like even better. I'm like, okay. Like,
I love their families, the family dynamic. They love each other so much. Like, I could talk about it all day.
I feel that it's like Shaw's or like Vanderpump was, in the sense that these people really know each other. This is not stage. It's not cast. These people are real, like people that know each other for a long time.
Our family. That's like my favorite.
And they're gonna skyrocket to fame, and it's going to be fascinating to see them evolve over the years, because I see this being like a 7-season show where, you know, they were kind of obviously nobodies, but then it's going to be fascinating to see how the fame takes over their lives. But anyways,
I mean, look at like Reza and MJ, and
exactly,
the fame is going to change them.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Do you want to
come
plug
back.
your stuff?
Sure. And I will come back anytime you want.
Ooh, okay, good.
So if everyone, listen, I tell people, if you are really not into anything I said here, you should still listen to my show, because my show is not about me. It's about me interviewing other people. You won't hear my opinion, but you will. And this is where having a law degree helps me on this show, because I will get the tea for you, and we might do a little dance, but eventually I'll back the guest into a corner and get what you need. So
Yes.
everyone could listen to Behind the Velvet Rope on Apple, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found, or you can, and we're also on YouTube, Behind the Velvet Rope YouTube. We have little videos, or you can just follow me on Instagram at Behind Velvet Rope. There's no the, because Instagram does not like long titles, but Behind the Velvet Rope. And really it's all housewives, like you said, like Teresa Caputo, comedians, actresses, and we have there's a lot of diverse stuff coming up. Never 100% Bravo, always mixed, and other reality shows too. Selling Sunset, The Hills, Laguna Beach.
Ooh, The Hills. Ooh, Laguna Beach. Love.
We go deep. So just
Love Laguna Beach.
Anytime,
well, thank you.
I'll come back though.
Yes.
absolutely.
1000%. This was so
It's
fun.
so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Love you both.
Thank you. Love you too. Thanks, David.
Keep in
Bye.
touch.
Bye. Wow, wow, we wow. Wow, wow, we wow. That was so fun.
That was amazing.
I feel like we got so much hot goss.
I love him.
I love him
so
too.
much. He's incredible. He's a chatty Cathy just like us.
I mean, it was beyond. I loved every single bit of it.
His connections are insane.
Insane. And I just love the expertise that we got. Like, you know, that here at Allegedly Bravo, we love to bring you the experts. And who better as an expert than the true expert of Behind the Velvet Rope? He's interviewed them all. So you're welcome, everybody.
You're welcome.
Do you have any criminal behavior?
Okay, I do.
Okay.
It was going to be Vanderpump Rules, and the fact that, you know, I'm over these people having a dog shit season and then coming through with a reunion.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also thought about something that was non-Bravo related, and that is, we need to start prosecuting these companies that are packaging lettuce, and the lettuce is going old or expiring within 2 days of purchasing.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever bought the box of lettuce and then you look
can't.
down at the bottom and it's got that funky smell? And it's like, I just spent $8.99 on this box.
And
of lettuce.
it's like little brown worms at the bottom. And you're like, this was supposed to be green lettuce. Why is it fucking slimy?
Those
it's
are,
like,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense why they do that. Like, your entire job is fresh produce. You know, if you go to the farmer's market, that'll never happen to you.
What's yours?
Mine is, I don't know if you're getting any of these ads on like TV, but I'm getting a lot of Match.com ads for some weird reason. And their tagline at the end of the commercial is Match.com, adults date better. Date better than what? Like, than a child? Yeah, no fucking shit, Match.com. So my criminal behavior is everything that Match.com is doing right now. Everything.
Ew.
I know. Isn't that beyond insane?
And it's like, doesn't your FBI agent know that you don't need to be matched?
I think it might be the guy upstairs. He's single.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we might be getting wires crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, I'm like very happily in a couple, but, and also like
dating an adult.
Yeah. Dating a full ass adult. Like, what the hell? So yeah. Anyway, well, our Patreon, if you want to give us a follow too,
yes,
is patreon.com/allegedly Bravo. Shout out to our VIP patrons at Classic Skytops. Go follow her on Instagram for some premium memes. Mr. or Mrs. Smith, our friend Wendy Beth, and CK. Go and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Allegedly Bravo, our website, allegedlybravo.com. And feel free to email us at allegedlybravo@gmail.com. But don't do weird shit, because we keep getting some weird shit, but we read every email. Just so you know. We read
every email. And if you've got some tea, send it our way. We'll keep you anonymous. If you have a fun legal story, send it our way. We'll talk about it on the podcast anonymously. Yeah, we're here to have fun, guys.
We're just here to have fun.
We're back, you know.
I
feel like we were
sweating.
we had a slow start to the new year. It was pretty chaotic here.
Mhm.
You know, we're getting sick. We're having birthdays. We're getting engaged. We're getting stitches. We're studying for the bar. We're possibly getting new jobs. Like it's
all happening.
Moving. Things are happening.
Things are happening. So buckle up, bitches, because you're coming with us.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.